And we are live.
Hello.
Live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Well,
It is.
hi everyone. Well, I'm Bill,
I'm Justin.
and welcome to, not car reviews.
Welcome to the 2018 retrospective of film. Yep.
Applaud!
We
Applaud!
survived. We survived another year
Yeah.
at the theaters, at the movies.
First of all, we'd like to wish you all a very happy New Year.
Yes, very happy New Year.
You know what, Justin? Have you always noticed we're late to the party on these? Like, we always say we're gonna do them a week between Christmas and New Year's, but
life gets in the way.
like last year we didn't do it till like mid-January. This year we got better.
This year was better.
We got
This year we're
we did
5 days after New Year's.
So, not awful. And it's the day before the Golden Globes.
So yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Okay, so here on this, we're going to talk about it all. The good.
The bad.
And just the plain strange.
What the fuck?
Okay, so any of our subscribers, all 9 of you, hopefully we'll gain some more fans tonight, right?
Let's hope, man. Let's hope.
Let's hope. Okay, and this is our first time doing it on YouTube Live last year.
We did it on Facebook Live last year.
And we had all our friends commenting, and
yeah,
it was fun.
It was fun.
But you know what? Now we're like,
let's go to the big boys.
And okay, we don't do like a top 10 because everybody does that.
Like, I think at one point we might have discussed last year of 5 best and 5 worst at the same time. You just like intercut in between, but we decided it'd just be more fun to do a retrospective with categories like an award show.
Yeah, so that's what we are going to do. We got a lot of movies to talk about, don't we?
Yes, we do. We have quite a list going of categories.
Yeah, so we are going to be here a while.
Yeah,
so if
get comfortable.
If you're suffering from the post-holiday blues and you have no plans tonight, because it's raining where we live, so
just sit back, relax.
Grab a nice cold alcoholic beverage or non-alcoholic.
We don't judge.
We don't judge. We support whatever you want to do. Woohoo! Libertarianism! I had to say that. I'm sorry. But anyway, so let's stop dilly-dallying.
Mm-hmm.
And let's get down to business. Disney, don't sue me for that.
Well, so much for monetization.
And they're not going to sue us over that. Because it was a cover. Okay, so we're going to start with the... Okay, should we start positive, start negative? Should we intertwine?
Let's just go down the list, man.
Okay, our first one is, wow, it didn't suck. As in... a movie that we thought was
not gonna be good,
or just plain
bad, and then we go in and
we liked it.
Pleasant surprise.
Okay, what's yours? Wow, it didn't suck.
So mine. This movie kept switching on and off my radar.
Okay.
It was a movie that. At first, I was not interested in because it looked like another Goosebumps. But then I saw Amblin was involved, Spielberg's company, and then I saw Eli Roth directing a PG-rated family Halloween movie.
A family picture.
And that movie was A House with a Clock on Its Walls. This movie was just charming. Like, usually when you watch a Jack Black movie, and I'll give him this, not so much in the recent years, but usually Jack Black goes overboard with the goofy frat boy comedy, like.
Yeah.
Big example for me was Gulliver's Travels. But in this, it was the perfect balance, and god damn it, I'm just gonna say it was damn whimsical.
Can I?
Go ahead.
Whimsy! Whimsy! If you want to know what that is, watch our review of it. We explain that joke.
I think that was on our Ready Player One review too.
It was on either one of those.
Like it felt
Whimsy! Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
like you could tell that it was an Amblin picture. It felt so Spielbergian in the way it played, but it still had that creep factor from like that only someone like Eli Roth can really get away with.
It was like Eli Roth made a Spielberg movie.
Eli Roth made a family movie with Spielberg elements to it. And it actually didn't suck.
I just want to chime in before I get to mine. I remember seeing it, and I felt kind of, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, great, we're probably going to be the only guys in the theater who are under 30 with no kids. And I'm thinking, oh, it's a kid's movie. But I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was charming. I thought the kid actors were a little...
They're kids.
Yeah. Okay, so now can I move on to mine?
Go right ahead.
My wow, it didn't suck, because, okay, I really didn't think it was going to suck, but I was kind of... It's a movie I was kind of iffy about. And that is Aquaman.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because the depiction I usually have of Aquaman is...
Is the Super Friends?
Yeah.
There is no fish around. My powers are useless.
And I thought it was going to be dumb and goofy. But, you know what? I enjoyed it. I thought Jason Momoa was really good. I thought... What's her name? The love interest, Johnny Depp's ex-wife.
Amber Heard as Mara.
She was very good. I liked her. And just, it was an interesting movie. And you want to know something weird? Like, last year, I had a DC movie on my It Didn't Suck list, and now...
And now another DC movie made on that list. And the DC movie from last year, I think now you actually do think...
It kind of sucks.
It kind of does.
So is DC starting to suck less?
DC's showing promise. But DC also showed promise last year with Wonder Woman. So... it could show promise going forward. I want to be on DC's side, so let's keep hoping
but overall,
for good movies.
The villain was good.
I like the villains.
And I just thought, this really kicked the Super Friends version of it right in the ass.
The Super Friends version of Aquaman, you could say, is sleeping with the fishes.
Boo! Okay, so let's move on to... Wow! That was fun!
Okay, now this one that we... So
we
this
actually share one.
Yes, we do. Now, the difference between Wow It Didn't Suck and Wow That Was Fun, if I am interpreting this right, because is we did not have good feelings about our Wow It Didn't
Or
Suck.
mixed feelings at first.
This movie we were looking forward to. We just did not anticipate how much we're
gonna like it.
Ended up enjoying.
And that Wow That Was Fun is so funny we just mentioned Spielberg, because our Wow That Was Fun was
Ready Player One.
I really enjoyed this movie.
It's a blast. It's just such an enjoyable movie. Like, it's got so many pop culture references, it makes Deadpool blush.
And it was like it has a lot of 80s references.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why. Did that book come out in the 80s, or?
No, but we're going through such a huge nostalgia phase with the 80s right now, with like Stranger Things and Stranger Things.
I thought we were in the 90s nostalgia phase right now.
It's kind of in between those two right now. because yeah, you got the Goosebumps, which is '90s, but you still have like Stranger Things, which is still going strong, which
Yeah.
is the '80s. Not to mention next year, yeah, next year, 2020, we're getting Wonder Woman '84,
Which is in the 80s.
which is in the '80s. So yeah.
And I think it was just like a fun adventure film.
Which Spielberg is usually a master at. I say usually because there's one movie we all know we can't let him forget.
And that is?
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Which I actually don't think that's bad, but that's a topic for another video, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I thought the characters were just enjoyable. Wade Watts was a blast.
The world is just...
It's just so... It really sucks you in.
Yeah.
And you would think if you saw the trailer, you would probably think, oh, this kind of looks stupid. But then once you go into it...
I'm sorry, it grabbed me as soon as they played Pure Imagination in the first trailer. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like the good thing about Spielberg is, and I said this in our review, is that he can do both fun movies...
And serious.
Because a few months before that, you had,
The Post.
And now you have Ready Player One. And Spielberg was also, because also in 1993 he released Schindler's List, and then a few months later he released Jurassic Park. So that shows he can do both the serious and, one more time, I promise, the whimsy!
However, there was one time where he did fail at doing two films at once.
Ready, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No. The Lost World. At the same time, I think he was also doing Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And from what I heard, he actually was not physically on set during Lost World.
He was too busy with Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite movies, by the way. Private Ryan, not
Right.
Lost World. All right, now, hate to say this, we're starting to go into the negatives, aren't
Oh,
we?
boy. Oh.
Biggest disappointment. Okay, I actually have a tie. One of that thing I have for a tie was actually the same one that he has. So we're going to talk about that one first, and then we're going to go into what my other one was. Sound good?
By biggest disappointment, we don't mean the worst.
We just thought...
Like, that the promise was so promising.
And once we saw it, we were like, this is underwhelming.
Mm.
And that movie is Solo.
This one hurt. This one hurt because I've been really liking what Disney has been doing with Star Wars, even though there's a lot of people who don't. Like, I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. I'll say it. But yeah, it was too average.
It was. I'm like thinking, a Han Solo prequel? Well, this should be interesting.
And it could have been interesting if they kept the original directors.
But it was just, would you say it was boring, or?
I wouldn't call it boring. It was just by the numbers.
Yeah, what do you mean by the numbers?
It's generic. It's like there's nothing original really to it. The reason why this movie exists seems to be to put logic at some of the more illogical parts of Han Solo. Like the 12 parsecs thing with the Kessel Run, or the origin of Han Solo's last name.
Because he goes by himself. Ooh, how creative. How long did it take the writers to come up with that?
I mean, I swear, like, the only thing that would have been dumber than that is if the guy was drinking out of a Solo cup.
And then he started singing that Red Solo Cup. I
So
fill you up. Let's have a party. But anyway,
it wasn't bad. It was
It's
just
just underwhelming.
yeah, there's some cool stuff about it, but it just did not need to be made.
It really didn't.
Like, yeah, it needs to be made.
And that's why we are very disappointed in it. And, okay, now mine, because I did have a tie, my other biggest disappointment, and this was a movie I was actually really looking forward to,
Mm-hmm.
Happy Time Murderers.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Muppet fan. I love the Muppets. Every Christmas I watch Muppet Christmas Carol. Yeah, come at me, bro. I love the Muppet, but this was just, oh boy, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like, I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be funny. Like, okay, to be fair, the jokes aren't like roll on the floor, piss your pants funny.
There was one joke, and it was in the trailer.
For $50.
No, when the main guy and the villain were, doing it
Oh yeah,
in the office,
and they did show that scene in the movie.
and it was funny. But that was
Other than that, the
that
rest
was
of the
it.
jokes, they're not like roll on the floor, piss your pants funny. They're more like, that was funny.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, to me, it's not the most disappointing because, like, to me, if that movie
But in the
sucked
review that never got uploaded, you actually liked it more than I did.
a little bit.
Because you said
A little.
stream it. I think I said, like, high skip it, low stream it.
Yeah, I think one viewing could be warranted from it, but like,
But, here's the thing, though. This movie focused too much on trying to be the, adult Muppet movie.
here's what I think would have made the movie 10 times better if they played it straight.
Okay.
Like, not trying to tell a joke every 10 seconds and like play the concept straight and let the comedy come naturally.
Yeah. Well, my problem is the movie was just trying to be. It was just trying to be. Hey, we're gonna try to be the Muppet movie for grown-ups.
Mm.
Instead of trying to focus on being, funny. Guess what we're gonna be? We're gonna be
Adult.
We're gonna be the adult Muppet movie. Like, okay, that's all well and good that you want to be,
Adult, but you still
give
gotta,
us some freaking substance, though.
Yeah. But like the reason why I choose Solo as more disappointing than this is because yes, the concept is pretty fun, but if it sucks, then it's just a concept gone to waste. They messed up Star Wars.
Should that be removed from the canon with Last Jedi?
No, it shouldn't be stricken from the canon, but it's just
It's not technically even in the canon, though.
it's a side story.
Yeah.
And yeah, that could mean it could be kind of lesser than, if it was an episode, but still. It's a Star Wars movie. You should be reaching for what you can do that's interesting. And they just went so average.
And that's why both of them are disappointments. Okay.
Next.
Most forgettable. I think that's pretty
I forgot.
Yeah, me too. Oh, well, let's move on. No, okay. Most forgettable. I think this is titled self-explanatory, isn't it?
Mm.
Movies that we just,
That we forgot. we can't really remember that well.
We probably remember the bare bones, but
That's probably it. And
am I starting or you starting or am I starting?
it was kind of both of us last time, so you start.
Okay. My most forgettable, and funny how you brought up Eli Roth earlier. Mine was the Death Wish remake.
Really?
Yeah, okay. You know, I have to say, okay, to be fair, I haven't seen the.
The original Charles Bronson.
Have you?
No.
Like, I've looked it up, and of all the movies out there, why remake Death Wish? It wasn't really a big, it wasn't really a big hit. Like, when it first came out, the movie was actually pretty controversial.
I'll tell you probably why.
Why?
Taken.
Oh, they were trying to be Taken.
It seems like everyone's trying to do Taken, try and recapture that lightning in the bottle.
Yeah, let's just replace Liam Neeson with
Bruce Willis. Or Jennifer Gardner. Because remember, she did Peppermint, was it?
Yeah, I know that just came out. My friend saw it. She said she actually thought that was pretty good. But anyway, getting back to Death Wish, because the first Death Wish, it was pretty controversial when it came out because.
And this year was no different.
And they made 5 Death Wishes.
Yeah.
And guess how they all did?
Not well.
They all sucked. Well, the first one gained sort of like a cult following. It has the highest rating of all of them on Rotten Tomatoes.
And that was the first appearance of. It was the first appearance of Jeff Goldblum.
And in this one, I just remember the bare bones. For those of you who haven't seen it, in this one, Bruce Willis, his wife and daughter are at the house. Somebody breaks in when he's at work, and the daughter survives, but the wife doesn't. And then he decides to go hunt down the people who killed his wife. And then starts preaching about vigilantism, and like it raises interesting questions. Like the interesting question is, do people have the right to take the law into their own hands?
I also heard it doesn't really take a side either which way and tries to stay in the middle.
Yeah, and I think they were trying to do that. I barely remember it because it's most,
It's the most forgettable.
Yeah, and which I kind of wish they dug into more. Like, do people have the right to take the law into their own hands? But, because the first one, it was controversial because it was more on the side of,
Of vigilantism.
It was more on the side of vigilantism. But, yeah, I think the movie was kind of... I just think it was boring and forgettable. It's, it's very bare bones, and it's just... And I just think the trailer just did too much of the talking, if that makes sense. And I think this is just a problem with most trailers nowadays. When Bruce Willis is in a garage going, where is it? And it tells him where the guy who killed his wife is. And then he leads the chain down and then ends up... You've seen the trailer.
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
And be like, whoa, we're supposed to be surprised at this? Well, guess what? We saw it.
In the trailer.
And, I'm, sitting there thinking, Eli Roth, you're not doing anything new and creative. You're just trying to remake a movie that, 2 people remember. And you're just trying to be a Taken ripoff.
Mm.
Any thoughts before we move on to yours?
Well, I never saw it.
But if you saw it, then guess what?
I probably agree with you, but I never saw it.
Yeah. So,
My most forgettable, we've actually saw it together. And it's a indie flick.
art house movie.
Art house movie that from the trailer, I thought it looked decent, so we went and saw Thoroughbreds.
Oh, dear God.
I don't remember much about that movie.
I think I even remember more.
I remember how it ended.
And it's just depressing.
It is depressing.
Like, from what you were telling me, I thought it was going to be like
a black comedy. But
it's black.
I was not laughing.
Depressing, but it's...
I was not laughing.
When I walked out, I actually felt empty. I had to look at puppy videos to cheer myself up.
Anyways, I don't remember much from the movie. It's just... I remember, like, seconds here and there. But I can't tell you a single line from the movie. I can't... I just don't remember a whole lot of it.
Do you remember the bare bone plot?
I know the bare bone plot, but...
A teenage girl and her best friend get pissed at the stepfather.
And decide to kill him.
There, we just told you the whole movie in
a through line. Well, that's what we call a log line. But yeah, it just was not that. It didn't grab me. I can admire the movie on a technical level.
The acting was decent.
But this movie was just not for us, and I don't really remember much about it. Maybe I just tried to strike it as much as I could from my mind.
Yeah.
But,
it's a movie I'm not going to be watching again anytime soon.
yeah.
Okay. Now things get fun.
All right.
Ah, shite.
Don't worry about it.
Best comic book movie.
Woof.
This was the year for Marvel, wasn't it?
This was a big year for Marvel. Probably their biggest year.
Before we get to the best ones, I think we should give a few shout-outs to the...
honorable mentions.
From Marvel, DC, or everybody?
From everybody, because let's be honest, it was such a good year for movies. I mean,
it was really hard, so we decided we're going to give everybody credit. Everyone clap. Marvel, congratulations, you did
great.
Okay.
And congratulations, DC, you didn't suck.
Woohoo! They're going to be like the Cleveland Browns. They're going to have the We Don't Suck parade. Guess where people are going to start chanting, we don't suck. Come on. We don't suck. We don't suck. Guess what we're celebrating here today? That we don't suck.
Okay, so let's start doing the honorable mentions because you have Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
You have Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
You have... Shit, I ran out of DVDs. You have Venom.
Which we'll talk about later.
We'll talk about that one later. Aquaman, as we said.
Which was good.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a good movie.
I liked it. I actually liked it better than the first one. And just to write down the others, Black Panther, I thought this movie was good.
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We didn't choose Black Panther for this.
No, we didn't. But I will say, Killmonger, one of the best villains in Marvel.
Agreed. And this movie is in our top 3 MCU movies.
It was just...
But...
And
there's just one movie that just edged them out. I don't feel so good.
And
it's
Avengers Infinity War. Okay.
Was there really any doubt?
Not that this was bad.
No, this was really good.
But this one was the
culmination of 10 years of Marvel movies. Think about it. Like, every movie at one point or another had a plot point to this movie.
And it just built it all up. We've been waiting 10 freaking years for that.
Now, let me ask you a question, though.
Let me give you an answer.
Would this movie be as good if it was a standalone movie?
Oh, yeah, by the way. What do you mean as a standalone movie?
Because I hear some people say that as a standalone movie, like, if you've never seen any of the other Marvel movies, you'd be so lost.
I agree to a point. Because you want to know what's the build-up and who Thanos is.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of most of the Marvel movies over the past 10 years...
Yeah.
And I just want to say before we go on, I think it was actually really important that we gave this movie the title to, of course, honor...
the late, great Stan Lee.
Stan, rest in peace.
You are, and always will be, the man.
And Marvel is not going to be the same without you.
Bill, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Excelsior! But yeah, it's gonna. I think before we get back on topic, I think it's gonna be pretty bittersweet with the was it Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah, apparently that's gonna be his last cameo.
That was probably the last one he filmed before he died. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it was fitting that we put this movie on the list to pay tribute to Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the movie, it's just, and you know what I like about it is it takes a lot of twists and turns.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, like. 90% of you have all seen the movie.
Yeah, and for the 10% of you who don't care about comic book movies, because let's be honest, that's the only reason why you haven't seen this movie.
It's not exactly, the ending isn't exactly
happy.
Yeah, and I think that's why, because it's usually, you know, a guy I watch on YouTube who I get my news from, he said, quote, I'm launching a jihad on comic book movies. He said it's always the same thing. Guy sees a girl, he's a superhero, saves the day, end. I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but, you know, this is the one that
kind of subverts all that.
And you see all your favorite
characters, like, they're all here at one point or another.
You got Iron Man, you got Cap, you got
Thor.
You got Spidey. You got the Guardians.
You got Hulk.
You got, of course...
for 2 minutes.
Black Panther. You got Doctor Strange.
They're all here.
And Thanos, like I said with Killmonger, Marvel has been getting so much better with their villains.
Yeah, because they finally understand what makes a good villain.
In the first 2 phases, the only really good one I would say was probably Loki. What do you think about Red Skull, though?
I thought it was... He's a Nazi.
Yeah. In this phase in Marvel, we've had Vulture in
Homecoming.
We've had Killmonger and Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had Thanos. And you know what's good about villains like these? You kind of understand them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, just the typical villain with the top hat and
the twirling of the mustache.
They're actually,
who goes along villaining. Watch our Aquaman review for that one.
You can actually, you can actually understand why Thanos is doing what he's doing.
Yeah. In his twisted mind, he's the good guy. He's the savior.
And he's wants to restore...
to bring balance to the universe.
And then he becomes a farmer.
Farmer Thanos.
And if you've seen the trailer for Endgame...
They fall through with this. Like, this isn't like a... this happened, but it'll all be fixed in the next movie. It's not like that. Like, this had consequences. This had honest to God consequences.
And now I'm thinking, what's going to happen?
We honestly have no idea what's going to happen in Endgame. And I am so excited for that.
And it's going to be great. And like I said, Marvel, keep doing what you're doing, because we'll keep watching. Okay, our next category, this kind of touched upon with the next category, which was Best Sequel. But, since we want to give equal time to
other movies besides the comic book stuff, which is
fair.
I
actually just thought of another one, which I thought was pretty good. And it's an honorable mention, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
And that was... This is not my title for it, but... Incredibles 2.
Yeah, but that's a superhero movie.
Oh, wait, we gotta go non-superhero, right? Incredibles 2, still good. I would say it's one of Pixar's better sequels. What do you say?
Yes.
Would you put it up there with the Toy Story sequels?
It's
better than the Cars sequels.
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to say before we get on to the non-comic book title, how come it took 14 years to get a sequel to The Incredibles, an actual good movie, but within 10 years we got 2 car sequels that nobody asked for and nobody wanted.
And a Monsters, Inc. prequel.
Which nobody asked for, and let's say it together, and nobody
wanted.
Yeah, John Lasseter, I'm looking at you. But anyway, now let's get on to, the non-comic book sequel. Mine was Creed 2.
Okay.
I really love, for those who don't know me, I love Rocky, he'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we first saw Creed 1, we were like, leave this movie alone.
And then they announced Creed 2.
And Creed 2, when at first they say, I thought they were going to have Drago fight Adonis Creed.
Mm.
But then I was hearing the sequel and then I was hearing the news that it was going to be his son.
Victor Drago.
And then at first I was thinking, no, leave it alone.
And then we saw the trailer.
And then I saw the trailer. First it was the teaser. I'm like, okay, this could work. And then when I saw the trailer, I'm like, hey, you know what? Guess what?
This looks good.
And then
we saw the movie.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
And it was, I really liked Rocky, of course.
Stallone always killing it.
Yeah, and you know what? I really liked that there was basically a breakup between Rocky and Adonis.
Yeah, there was.
We'll give a bit of spoilers. Adonis is going to fight Drago. Rocky says, don't do it. So Rocky then goes, I'm not going to, because if you've seen Rocky 4...
He already had to bury one Creed. He's not going to bury another.
Yeah. And you know what I thought, which was interesting? They have, since Drago hit Adonis illegally, instead of having Creed lose...
Creed won.
But it was kind of in
by technicality. But he's
and you know what? At first I'm thinking, no, that's stupid. But then watching, thinking, you know what? I like that they went this way.
Because they never really did that before,
Because they're saying, hey, you know what? I want to really earn my title and not just win by a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
And just like what Rocky is going through in his personal life, and how Drago basically lost his whole family and the respect of his country, and now he's like, oh, here, my son, please like me.
Even though in Rocky 4 no, not low power mode, go close. Even though in the Rocky 4, Russia went Rocky nuts in the end too, so there's some nitpicks I have, but as a movie...
And a sequel, good build-up. It's a good follow-up. But we're going to say the same thing that we said at the end of the first one, and this time we're dead serious.
Leave this alone.
What are we going to do from here on in?
Creed versus the Martians?
That could work. Or what are we going to do? Creed versus Clubber Lang's son. Like, this one works because Drago's father killed Apollo. And what did Clubber Lang do? He was rude. He was rude.
Okay, I actually have an idea.
What?
So in Rocky 4, the villain kills Creed.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed, right? What in Creed 3, Adonis accidentally kills someone in a ring.
Oh. Writers, guess what we want?
We want a treatment on our desk on Monday morning.
At about 10 o'clock.
Okay, moving on.
Now, we talk about the best sequels. Now we move on.
The worst. Now, give me 1 second. Keep talking.
Okay. The worst sequel, and this was the same for both of us, wasn't it, Justin?
Yeah.
And it was...
Hold on.
Can you get it in there?
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Okay, sorry guys, technical difficulty. What's going on?
What
Happened.
have to keep it like this. All right. Change angle.
Alright guys, technical difficulty.
So we're doing it from this angle now.
Okay, which I might be leaning back because my back is not in the best shape. Anyway, yeah, I still got my Christmas tree up there.
Okay. So, worst sequel.
And we agreed on this one, didn't we?
It's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Alright, the first Jurassic World
Was dumb fun.
it was okay. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was
dumb fun. But this was just dumb.
it was boring too. It wasn't incredibly boring, but
The second half took place entirely in some old rich dude's house.
God, how boring does that sound?
The title is Jurassic World.
Not Jurassic.
Jurassic House.
Ooh.
Now.
That would be.
No.
Wait, I can't write the treatment for that?
Now, I'll say this though. The cliffhanger they left us on is interesting. And I'm kind of curious what they'll do with that. But after seeing this, they'll probably F it up anyways. But they did end on a kind of intriguing note.
Yeah, but the movie was just not interesting. It was just
Yeah.
not that great of a follow-up.
And what the fuck was with that little girl?
Nobody knows.
I mean, her acting was fine, but like, seriously, a clone?
Whose bright idea was that?
This is why they need to stop hiring those writers of 1990s Spider-Man comics.
Wait, the writers for this movie were 1990 Spider.
No, but that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a plot from the Clone Saga, the Spider-Man comics.
I think we can agree, and I want to give a shout out to a friend of yours who said this. Hollywood is just running out of ideas, so we got to make remakes now, and sequels to movies from like 20 years ago. Like sometimes it could work well.
We've seen it done well.
Like not 20 years ago, but like 10 years ago, Creed. That worked well.
Rocky Balboa, as much as you said was an unneeded sequel, was still a good sequel.
Oh yeah, it was good. I wouldn't put it up there with Rocky 4, but it was a good sequel. Some sequels, they just do the bare minimum, as in just give us a follow-up. Others go above and beyond.
Yeah.
And Jurassic World, I think, just does the bare minimum.
This is definitely a movie that needs to become extinct.
Yeah, but, if they make another one just to see where we went from the last one.
like I said, they left it off at a very interesting note.
There was
So if there is a third one, they better go all out, balls to the wall with it.
there's one upgrade from that one though. They got rid of the nephews.
Yes, they did get rid of the nephews.
Thank you.
And
And listen, I'm sure they're very nice kids.
And
And I'm sure they're very talented actors, but every time that young nephew was on stage, was on screen, here was my response. Are you ready? It's because I think with child actors sometimes they don't act like,
children.
they act like how adults think children act.
Mm-hmm.
Or how adults wish children act. It was, oh, God. Please, if you bring them back, oh, God. I will not be happy.
I think they should do the next Jurassic World 5 years later. The world's gone to shit because dinosaurs are taking over, and they're actually in. And Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are leading a rebellion of some sort, and it's just like a survival movie.
That sounds awesome. Just to get right in on that. I want a full treatment on my desk by Monday morning. Can you do that?
Bill, that's 3 treatments I have to do now.
Okay, I'll give you to the end of the month.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, the WTF Film of the Year, or the
Boy.
the
Oh, wow. JT Mahoney.
hey, he's watching?
He's watching.
Hey, JT, how you doing, pal? Please chime in. We would really love to hear your expertise, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, JT, he is a great guy. He has a channel called
he is a friend of the channel.
it's called the Super Review Show, and 2018 was a good year for film. Agreed. And hopefully one day, me, Justin, JT, and Kyle, who's also on the channel, hopefully we can do a crossover.
Absolutely, I would love that.
Wait, what's not great, JT?
Oh, jeez.
What'd he say?
Oh, 2018 was not a great year.
Oh. Why wasn't it great?
I'll say this. Some
Yeah?
of the big movies to come out this year.
I saw 2 little films. Okay,
Oh,
well, which
well.
ones did you see this year? Well, rat 'em out. We know you saw Infinity. I know you saw Infinity Wars.
Everyone and their mother saw Infinity War.
So, you know what we're gonna do while he's thinking of movies that he saw this year. We're gonna go on. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Okay, so our next category is the what the fuck film of the year, which this was a movie that we didn't think was.
Hold on one moment, though.
What?
Special honorable mention, because I just saw this a few days ago.
Infinity War was awesome.
Of
We
course.
know.
I saw this movie a couple days ago. It's called Black Mirror Bandersnatch. And now it's huge.
Didn't you want to have that as yours for the for this
I
category?
was thinking about it, but it's an honorable mention for me because what happened in our choice was just so weird.
And we are gonna give spoilers, aren't we?
We're giving spoilers.
Okay, so yeah. So JT, if you're still watching, tell us if you've seen any of these movies. Sound good? And plus, by the way, we need to do a crossover one day. Would you be down for that?
I'd be down.
If we're gonna do a commentary, you know which one movie we gotta do a commentary of? I'm not gonna. Okay, bro. God, I don't have the movie on me. I had it earlier. Damn it.
Pulp Fiction.
Yes, Pulp Fiction crossover. A crossover would be good. He said. Okay,
All right.
so
let's keep going.
Okay, so
what's
go
our
on with your
my honorable mention. So my honorable mention, Bandersnatch. It's a choose your own adventure style film. It's an interactive film on Netflix. It gives you prompts to make decisions, and it influences the story. But it's about a video game designer who's creating a choose your own adventure game based on a choose your own adventure book, but he's finding that he's making decisions he would not normally make, and it's driving him nuts because he feels like he's not in control of himself, which obviously he's not because we're in control of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets weird. Like, there's this one time, like, he's talking to his computer and it says, "Who is controlling me?" And there's this one prompt where it says, "Netflix." So then you're starting to explain to this guy from 1984, might I add, what Netflix is, and then he goes to his shrink about it, and the shrink is like, if you were really part of entertainment.
Alright, what's he saying? Oh, yes, that would be awesome.
If if he was really part of someone else's entertainment, he was like, wouldn't your life be somewhat more exciting? There was an option that said, "Fuck yeah," and he just starts destroying the place, and then all of a sudden, his psychiatrist turns into a ninja, and they start fighting like some sort of action movie, and then the dad comes in and starts fighting him, and he holds you up against the wall. You kick him in the nuts. It's insane. Like, that's probably the funnest ending of that movie, but the others are more downers, as Black Mirror usually gets. But yeah, I highly recommend it.
Okay, are we ready to get to the real what the WTF of the year?
Yeah, sorry to bother you about that.
What a wonderful transition into our what a wonderful transition. JT, did you see this movie? Sorry to bother you.
Oy vey.
Okay, this movie is
that was yikes. Like,
bring on. That is our WTF movie of the year. Sorry to bother you. It was
this was
it was an interesting film.
Directorial debut of Boots Riley. And it's about a guy named Cassius Green who works for this
who's trying to get a job to save his uncle's house, which is about to be foreclosed in, because he's living there with his girlfriend.
So he gets a job in sales as a solicitor.
How bad? LOL, worse than Son of the Mask.
No, it's not bad. It's just
weird. And we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to bad later.
We're gonna get to why it's weird in a second. And so anyway,
so he makes his way up the ranks when everyone is going on strike
and unionizing
and all that,
because they teach him this technique to
use his white voice.
And the guy is
by
black.
Patton Oswalt, I think.
Yeah, the guy is, because his usual voice is more,
it's Lakeith Stanfield is the actor who plays Cassius. And look, this movie was in first 2/3. We were having a good time with it, right?
Yeah, and then it just went.
It just
went right out of left field.
It opened up Pandora's box and just opened up a whole can of worms of what the fuckery.
Boy.
Apparently, in this universe exists a cocaine-like substance where if you snort it, you turn into a horse person.
Yeah.
Literally a horse person, and it's
funny, but it's
batshit insane. It doesn't sound that bad when we say it, but the way it's shown in this movie is we're still live.
Okay, still live. Do you want to use my phone back?
No, don't worry.
Anyway,
my bad about that.
Sorry.
Yes, we're still live.
Okay.
Sorry about that, folks.
Technical the camera. Okay, James, we're using Justin's
We're
phone.
using a phone.
And he's got a call. So
I had a call.
Okay, so anyway, you just tagged your friend. He just tagged a friend of ours to watch, and I think she was just watching for a moment, but welcome. Okay, so anyway, yeah, it's just a caravan of insane.
What the fuckery, and
some of it's funny.
They want him. Sorry.
I think it tries to be like a science fiction version of Get Out.
A little bit, and you know, and they wanted like Cassius to take this cocaine to go undercover and become
Like the leader.
and
And
like he tries to reveal it to the world, and the world is like, eh.
I think it's like what you said. It's a commentary on like obliviousness, because like we as a society, I'm gonna get a little preachy now, but when tragedies happen, instead of doing stuff about it, we just, and
we become jaded.
We just become jaded, and we just move on with our lives. Like there's a scene when he's saying, "Please call your congressman and tell them about this," and the world is just, Hey, you want to go to the bar later?
And then the scientists are
Just
like,
that's how people behave.
Why is he freaking out about this? This is a scientific breakthrough. We should be congratulating these guys. And it's like, what the fuck are you on?
They're turning people into horses! Actual horses! Yeah, so it's just a insane film. But it's entertaining as hell.
Yeah, so...
And there's some jokes that we cannot repeat because they are kind of...
racially,
And they are kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Okay, our next category.
There we go. Scoop.
Our next category is... most overrated. Okay, now, overrated, we don't necessarily mean this movie was...
bad, just... overrated.
Just, it got way too much praise and it deserved.
Or too much hype.
And
my pick didn't get a lot of praise, but it made money. And it got a lot of hype. It's the Meg.
Meg. Okay, the Meg. Jurassic.
That was our worst sequel.
Yeah, Jurassic World was our worst sequel. Like, why do you think it was overrated, JT? I'm curious.
I'll give him this. It did make money.
It did.
So maybe that would be a reason why it was overrated. But like, the hype for the Meg was...
they had a Burger King special on it.
It was just astronomical, and the trailer made it look like this dumb, fun extravaganza. We go see the movie, and it's boring.
And it came out the same week as...
Black Klansman.
And you're thinking, the trailers were so good, then the movie hit, and we were... man, are you talking about Jurassic World or Meg?
With Jurassic World, I didn't even like the trailers that much.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to the Meg, it's like the shark's not even in it that long.
No, it was just boring.
The shark is in it for like, what, 10 minutes at most? Or more than that?
Yeah,
maybe 20 minutes
and
at
like,
most.
A lot of the characters are unlikable, especially Rainn Wilson's character.
If you took out the shark, you wouldn't be missing anything.
Yeah.
And I think this movie was released on the same week as Black Klansman. Because it's like, okay, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a movie about, racism and hate? Or do you want to see
a dumb shark movie? We want to see a dumb shark movie first. We'll save Black Klansman for another day. So we saw this.
I think we saw Black Klansman first.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember anymore.
No, I remember. We saw Black Klansman first.
Okay.
And I think we will talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
But, because I think it was one of the good movies of the year. But anyway, the Meg, more like mega flop. Good one, JT.
Yeah, the Meg was not good. It was boring.
The characters were just not interesting.
The hype for this movie was unreal. It was like suicide levels of hype. It did look bad, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to see it so bad, because it looked like a dumb shark movie.
Like, hey, at least we're going to get a good time
like
out of
Sharknado. But at least Sharknado knew what it was. This tried to be way more serious than it had any right to be. And I like weird. I like dumb, but it has to know
What
what
it wants to
wants
be.
to be. Like some people could say Aquaman was dumb, but
Yeah.
it knew it wanted to be that way. It's just this did not know what it wanted to be.
Okay. Mine, we go from a dumb fun shark movie to an Oscar bait movie. My most overrated, and this was really, I was having a really hard time deciding this because it kind of has fallen off the radar, but it has like an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
First Man,
Really?
with Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong,
Directed by Damien Chazelle, the guy behind La La Land and Whiplash.
which I love. La La Land, one of my favorite movies of 2016.
Perhaps he should stay to movies relating
Yeah.
to music
You might
then.
want to plug the thing in.
Yeah, we're getting low on battery.
Hi,
Give me one
JT.
sec.
Hi. Oh, hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Hope you're enjoying our retrospective so far. We are actually okay. We're now on most overrated. I think First Man was just. I think it was just it dragged on. Oh, Sarah's a friend of JT's GF. Well, hi, Sarah. JT, is your girlfriend watching, or?
You know, I'm going on the other side of you.
Okay, that sounded weird. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, JT. That sounded a little strange. Anyway,
Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
we're getting to know our new friends here. Anyway, just First Man, Ryan
Okay,
Gosling
scoot.
was good, but I think his performance. She's in Delaware and sleeping. Ryan Gosling's performance was just a little wooden for my taste. He's just
Maybe you should have gotten Elijah Wood.
good one. We need a better high five. There we go. I forgot all about First Man. Well,
Well, then it would have been a good choice for most forgettable then.
it's just it looked really good. Well, I didn't think it was bad. It just dragged on. And I will give it credit where credit is due. It did show a part of Neil Armstrong's life that not a lot of us know. I didn't know if you knew this, Justin. He actually had a daughter who passed away from leukemia.
Really?
And it shows in the beginning. My favorite movie is Spider-Man. Oh, good choice.
Good choice.
We wish it came out this year. It came out,
It came out last year.
but we will still give you thumbs up for that, Sarah.
But
I really loved it.
But there was another really good Spider-Man
And we'll
movie
talk
that
about
came
that
out
in a
this
bit. We'll talk about that a
in
little later.
2018. So we'll talk about that in a
Later.
bit.
And please, we would love to hear your thoughts when we get to that. So anyway, First Man, it's just, it's nice to know that, thank you, they kind of made it more about, like, Neil and his personal issues, if that makes sense, than...
Yeah, and like, I think I once criticized a movie that did a different approach to someone's life, for doing the opposite of what you're saying First Man did, and that movie was Lincoln. And I was criticizing.
Okay, we're getting a question. How old are you guys?
We're 24.
Yeah, I'll be 25 in March.
Anyways, with Lincoln, I criticized that movie, which is about being all about the 13th Amendment and not about Lincoln. And in this one, like, I think a lot of people wanted the moon landing, but just got
Like, it shows the moon
Neil
landing.
Armstrong's life. But of course they'll show
Like,
that.
there
but
was a rumor going around that it didn't have him say the famous, one small step for man.
Mhm.
He did say it in the movie, but then there was another controversy.
the flag.
People try to find things to,
Everyone wants to whine about something.
So anyway, First Man, I can say that it tried. but it just dragged on forever. It's just nearly 3 hours long. And while it was nice that we saw... Well, we're going to get to that.
We'll talk about that in a little bit,
We're getting to that, Sarah. We're getting to that. We promise. We promise. Don't we promise?
We promise.
We absolutely promised.
Let's just get through this next category
but
first.
But all I gotta say about First Man is not terrible. Okay, we have a little bickering going on here.
Okay.
But
so
anyway, let's stay on topic here. So First
right.
Man, and like I think it was nice because not a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
That about Neil Armstrong's personal life.
So
but I kind of wish it was more about,
more about the moon landing?
Yeah, but, it was kind of nice to see because not too many people know about, Neil Armstrong.
Well, maybe one day they'll do a more Apollo 11-centric movie.
Yeah. Okay, so now we talk about most overrated.
Now the most underrated.
Okay. My most underrated this was one we saw together.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Bad Times at the El Royale.
I love that movie.
I
really do.
I thought it was really good. For those of you who... It's about Jeff Bridges. I got him confused with Jeff Daniels for some weird reason. Why? Both their names are Jeff. Anyway.
You weren't mistaken for Jeff Goldblum.
Anyway, Jeff Bridges plays a bank robber disguised as a priest.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to go to and he goes to the El Royale because he wants to dig up a money that he left there years ago. And then there's other characters. There's this woman who's aspiring to be a singer.
Yep.
I forgot what the actress's name was.
I can't remember.
And she was phenomenal, too.
She was phenomenal.
I am very sorry, ma'am, whatever your name is, that we couldn't remember your name, but you were great.
As was the rest of the cast. You have John Hamm playing...
Like an FBI agent.
An FBI agent disguised as a salesman, I guess.
And then you had Dakota Johnson...
Who's, trying to protect her little sister.
From, her boyfriend, who's played by Chris Hemsworth. Yes, Thor. Who's, a cult leader.
Yep.
And then you have...
the bellhop.
And you know what I also really liked? They kind of dived into themes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the big themes was, I think, was more of a religious theme because you have Jeff Bridges is playing a... Oh, she doesn't know the movie. Well, Sarah, I highly recommend it. It's very good. It's
a very good movie. It's long, though.
It's a long film, but it's enjoyable. But anyway, he's disguising himself as a priest, and the bellhop is bugging him the whole movie, saying to him that he's got to
I need to confess.
And then you have Chris Hemsworth's character, which is...
Who's this nihilist,
It's basically the fight between faith and hedonism. Hedonism as screw faith, screw everything, just party hard. Just party hard. And yeah, and it's interesting, and it's also, I don't know if you would really call it redemption about him trying to get the money back. He's not trying to save anybody. He's just Jeff Bridges' character. He's trying to get what's rightfully his.
Rightfully.
Yeah, and he is actually a likable guy, and you kind of feel for him.
Yeah, and in the end, Jeff Bridges, he does a really good thing, and this was just a really fun movie for me. This was a movie that I was really looking forward to, and I am so glad that I saw it. But...
And actually, these two, fun fact, First Man and Bad Times at El Royale actually came out on the same day.
Yes.
So, anyway.
That said, my choice for most underrated is Game Night.
And that was actually going to be my choice at first, but... And I really did like Game Night, by the way.
I thought it was a fantastic idea for a movie. It played the beats so right. Like, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams had amazing chemistry, I thought. Like, it has a shit ton of movie references, which is my thing.
And you know what? Like, I'll be honest, the characters are all caricatures, but in some weird reason,
it works.
it works. You have the, the nice couple.
The nice couple, the smart / dumb couple, and
You have the, you have the guy who who's not really in a committed relationship and just bounces around from girl to girl.
mm-hmm.
And then you have the, yes, love that movie. Sarah just said she loved Game Night. Which movie is it? Game Night, JT. Game Night.
It's such a fun movie. It's a blast. It's funny. It's gross. It's one of those movies where the black comedy just shines through so well. Especially in that cop's house when he's dripping blood all over the place.
Yeah. And it was just such... Or when that guy got hit by the car. Remember when that guy got hit by the car? Rachel McAdams is like, yes! Oh no, he died! It's like...
I thought that was with the airplane.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Alright, so... I liked it, and you said you really...
I really enjoyed that one. That's one of my favorite movies from early 2018.
Okay. Our next one... Or do you want to...
You want to do the...
Is there still more you have to talk about, or are we ready to move on?
I'm satisfied.
Okay, our next one is Guilty Pleasure of the Year. Now...
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, Guilty Pleasure, it's that movie, we know
know
enjoy it, but we know it's bad.
We know it's bad, but we don't care. We'll still watch it.
Is yours still... Or do we have the same one?
It's the same one.
May I do it? We are Venom.
First, we'll eat both of your arms, and then both of your legs, and then we will eat your face right off of your shoulder. Then you will be this armless, legless thing rolling down the street, won't you? Like a turd in the wind.
JT, you liked Venom. Like, we didn't hate it. We didn't hate it.
Far from it. We actually liked it a lot.
But you gotta admit, come on, you gotta admit...
It was stupid.
It was dumb. It was a dumb movie.
It was stupid.
It was fun, but...
It was a lot of fun, but it was stupid.
It was... And you know what? But you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
I actually thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
Because you saw the trailer and you're like, the dialogue is cheesy.
Yeah,
Oh, Sarah, you loved it?
Like,
Well, really, why'd you love it? I would really like to hear your thoughts.
Like, for me, the dialogue was just so cheesy. Especially with Tom Hardy, and that's why I love it.
You like this arm... And because in the trailer it said, we don't hurt bad people. I'm like, who wrote this? A fourth grader?
Yeah, and in the movie, it was portrayed a little better.
Yeah.
And, like, once I understood what exactly this movie was, then I was like, okay, I can accept this.
Yeah. But it was...
I still have problems with the movie, but, I'll still, like, if Venom comes on, I'll still watch it.
Like, it's... Like, I'll say, of all the comic book movies that came out this year, it was one of the weaker ones.
This was probably my least favorite comic book movie of the year. But that's in a year where all of them
were
great. And this one was just dumb fun.
And you know what the thing is?
Fine.
Okay, I'm going to admit one thing I didn't like about this movie, and I think you know what it is. That damn song!
Venom, 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 Venom.
Time for Venom. I'm like, what are we gonna have? Like a music video of Venom going, Venom dance! Venom dance! Venom dance! If that happens, heads will roll. Will heads roll?
No, here's what you do. You get who's another good rapper?
Well, I loved it because we did want a Venom movie, and the scene with a female Venom, beautiful, because we need more female characters. I agree.
Yo, I love the She Venom scene.
Oh, she was great.
Um,
But I'm kind of curious on this, and guys, if you're watching, let me know your thought. Let us know your thoughts.
also, JT, you know it should have been rated R. You know it.
And like, where are they gonna go from here? You guys are killing me. I didn't see Black Panther, Deadpool 2. Oh,
Yikes.
Yikes. JT, get on that.
Movie marathon, because guess what? We got Deadpool 2. We got Black Panther. The only thing we don't have is Spider-Verse.
because that's still in theaters.
We're going to binge that. We're going to binge those movies. Just not tomorrow. I'm busy.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Venom. Okay, guys. Boo me. Okay, guys, I want you to answer me this question. Where are they gonna go from here though? Because should we? Of what? Movie commentary on what?
Oh, on the Deadpool 2, Black Panther, and Spider-Verse, I think he meant.
Yeah. Well, let's. But anyway, with Venom, like, if they do a sequel, is it gonna be rated R or PG-13?
Here's the thing. We all want it to be rated R.
Cause if
But Avi Arad, who's the producer,
anyone in the would be open to that, and I would love with you guys to binge watching movies is like my life. Well, we love movies too, don't we?
it's kind of my life.
But anyway,
It really is my life.
Anyway, so
I do this for a living.
So anyway, because we were hoping the first one was gonna be rated R.
Yeah, that was like my biggest hope.
Because if you read the comics,
it's gruesome.
yeah. Because the most people get exposed to Venom was the Spider-Man
Spider-Man
comic.
3.
The comic book, the show, or Spider-Man 3, which we all want to forget.
Yes.
I didn't think it was that bad, but
But they botched Venom.
yeah, Tom Hardy was better than some bad Viltum. Well, it is a guilty pleasure.
That's exactly what we're saying. It's a guilty pleasure.
And is there going to be a crossover into the MCU when we're going to have Venom versus Spider-Man? Because Tom Hardy really wants it.
He does really want it. He wants it more than Spider-Man and Venom versus Carnage. He wants Venom versus Spider-Man. He just wants to fight that little punk.
I think it's going to be more Spider-Man and Venom versus Carnage because...
Oh, there will be Carnage.
Because if anyone saw the, the whatchamacallit, the end credit scene, or was it the mid-credit scene?
Mid-credit.
You saw Tom Hardy interviewing Cletus Cassidy,
Woody Harrelson.
Who is, of course...
Woody Harrelson in the wig.
Yeah. But anyway, if they're gonna if it's gonna be a Venom vs. Carnage movie, it better be rated R.
Because Venom, you go PG-13.
Carnage,
hell no.
Because here's the thing. But if they want to do a crossover with,
Spider-Man, and I think that's like the main reason why they're doing PG-13 is they want to make it accessible. But I don't agree. Logan was rated R. It was fucking awesome. Deadpool rated R. Fucking awesome.
But here's the thing: if they want to do a crossover with Spider-Man, they probably want it to be PG-13.
All right, make that PG-13. But Venom versus Carnage, make that rated R. Okay.
Well, anyway, moving
back to the list.
Best animated film, and JT and Sarah are watching. I think you guys are going to be pleased with what we picked, and that was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And you know what?
We chose that over this.
We chose a Sony animated movie over Pixar. And again, if you were here earlier, I didn't hate this. I actually really like this movie.
Yeah, we love this movie. It's just that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was that good.
And you were thinking, and you know what? I like the different route they went. How they, because Peter Parker, how many times have we heard that story?
Well, we heard it 1, 2, 3. Does Peter Porker count? Because there
I
was.
saw The Incredibles 2, and I thought it was really great. Well, we liked it too, JT.
It's just that Spider-Verse. You gotta see Spider-Verse. It's.
Didn't see Spider-Man yet. Well, what are you waiting for? Go out right now and watch it.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you think they're showing? Do you think they're having showings right now, or?
Oh, I'm sure. That movie has legs.
Yes. So anyway, you thought it looked stupid, JT? Sorry, we're on Sarah's side on this one.
It can get silly, but it's so good.
The critics told me otherwise. Critics liked it. Doesn't it have like a 90-something percent?
No. Like he said, it looked stupid, but the critics told me otherwise.
It has like a 90-something percent on Rotten Tomatoes, doesn't
it has a 90...
9, I think. I heard 9.
Either way, this was fantastic.
I love how they went the Miles Morales route instead of...
Oh my god. And if you're in a bit of a Christmas spirit, you get to hear...
Yes, we agree, Sarah. JT, go see this movie right now.
And if you sit through the credits, you'll get teased a very fun Christmas song. Sung by Peter Parker himself.
And that could be your next holiday tradition. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I listened to the whole album for my Christmas.
Oh, how was the whole album?
It was a lot of fun.
But anyway, going with Miles Morales, I think was a nice change of pace.
It was a nice change of pace. It was a story we didn't really get to see before. It's a superhero that has both of his parents, which is
unheard of.
Yeah, it's kind of unheard of, but it's here, and you have a father who doesn't agree with vigilantism, and it's...
But you know what? And the father's not an a-hole.
Oh no, he is not.
The IMDb
rating.
I'm working on my Spider-Gwen cosplay for Comic-Con this year.
I'm working on a Spider-Gwen script. Sarah, if you're interested, I might cast you.
Anyway,
It's
Spider-Woman movie, maybe.
I'm working on it.
And you know what? It's like, but anyway, Miles' dad, he's not an a-hole. He just wants you to know what's best for his son.
Yeah.
And I really liked, how they included, what's his name, Jefferson Davis. No, what's his name? Aaron Davis. Yes, JT, we need a Spider-Woman movie or Spider-Girl movie, whatever.
I think a Spider-Gwen movie would be absolutely amazing. I think they're actually working on like a female-centric Spider-Women movie. Animated, of course. I think they're using Spider-Gwen, Silk, and... I don't know if there's another one that they're doing.
Yes, I'd be totally interested. I have some acting skills.
All right.
And you know what else is good also? Spider Noir, played by...
Oh my god. It's a 1940s Peter Parker, voiced by Nicolas Cage.
And of course, Spider-Ham. Or Spider-Pig. Spider-Pig does whatever a Spider-Pig does. Yes, that is real.
And it's even sillier than it sounds.
But it's
hilarious. And this movie it's one of my favorite animated movies in the past few years. Like, I think I even like it better than Lego Batman.
Really, I haven't seen Lego Batman.
I highly recommend it.
Well, because I am a big Batman fan, so I think I would like it. And yeah, I thought it was, and also I thought there was going to be a connection to the MCU. I said this in the review because if you remember in Spider-Man Coming, there was a scene when Spider-Man's interrogating Aaron Davis, and he says, "Listen, I don't want these weapons in this neighborhood. My nephew lives here," and of course he's talking
about Miles.
But, you know, like we said in our review, it doesn't really line up.
No, it doesn't
The way he's
at all.
talking about it like he's like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
But in the movie, he's like 14. So
Yeah.
It doesn't really line up.
What about a Gwenom movie?
Mm.
Oh, she knows the comics.
Oh, is that in the comics?
It is in the comics. Yeah, Spider-Gwen does become Venom for a little bit.
Okay. Now, after the fun, it's time we get serious. It's time for best film based on a true story.
Yeah. So.
And there were a lot of good true story movies this year.
Yeah, there were. Now, this one I had to fight a little bit because.
If you want to talk about both of them, that's totally cool.
Because there's one I enjoy on a pure enjoyment level.
Yeah.
And then there's one that I think is the best made film.
Okay, and what are those two?
The most enjoyable one I thought was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Which I liked.
I thought it was...
Rami Malek should better get a... Wait, did he get a Golden Globe nom?
I have no clue.
Somebody look that up, please, if Rami Malek got a Golden Globe nom.
You like a movie if you can get over its flaws. And I can get over the historical... And there are quite a few historical creative licenses they took.
Mm-hmm.
Which some people might not take well to.
Yes.
But others will... Some will just pass over your head and some just don't care. I'm in the last camp.
Just don't care?
I don't care about the...
I'll be honest,
the
as much as I like the movie, and we saw it together,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of irk me, and he'll tell you the truth. He was sitting next to me.
I saw him, holding himself down,
This didn't happen!
Obviously, it wasn't that loud, but... But with Bohemian Rhapsody, it was just such a fun time, and it's...
Okay, well,
And
we won't
that-
give any spoilers for Bohemian Rhapsody, we promise.
And, Rami Malek, he was Freddie Mercury in that movie.
He was, you could see it was Freddie Mercury, not
Not a guy in a wig and teeth.
it was, and he put on a great performance.
And the wigs and teeth did look pretty convincing, I'll say that.
And it really got into the complicated part of Freddie Mercury's life.
Mm,
Wouldn't you say?
absolutely. You know what? It kind of went to some dark places with Freddie Mercury that I honestly didn't know happened, or I might not have known the extent of it. And I'll say this: could those events may not have happened? Possibly. But
If you ever see a movie based on a true story,
take it with a grain of salt.
yeah, listen, even when the person's deceased, especially when the person's deceased, it's kind of hard because you can't go talk to that person. And
Yeah, and plus you have to get the script approved by the band and
because I'm sure Brian May and Roger Taylor and all of them.
and Mary probably had to.
They probably all saw the script before they started filming.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, what was the... Did you still have more to say, or...?
Now that was my fun choice, my enjoyment choice, but on a filmmaking level,
And this is actually tied with my choice, so we're going to both talk about this.
BlacKkKlansman.
Which... Oh, boy. This is a very heavy movie.
It's a heavy movie.
It was
but
really good, though.
this is a movie that took a very sensitive subject matter.
Racism.
And
The KKK.
And it treated respect, but it also had a lot of lighthearted moments to it.
Well,
Which
because the character that's played by Denzel Washington's son,
John David Washington.
Ron Stallworth, the character he plays in the movie, this was actually based on the book that Ron Stallworth wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Spike Lee and Ron and whatever that guy's name was.
Oh, Adam Driver's character?
No, Spike Lee and the Ron Stallworth. I'm sure Ron Stallworth was probably on set when Spike Lee was filming.
It could be possible.
But go on.
You know what? Like, it treated this type of subject matter with respect, and it also deals with, you know, like, police taking advantage of their titles, you know, randomly pulling over minorities and stuff like that, and causing trouble, abusing their powers, and, you know, it shows, like, both sides of the situation. You know, you see the Malcolm X, Black Panther's side of things. You saw
The Black Panther, like Ron's girlfriend in the movie and Ron, they represent two different ideologies. Like Ron represents more like the Martin Luther King type philosophy, as in, hey, we need to assimilate. Well, okay, maybe that's not the best word, but we need to get along with our white brothers and sisters, and we need to live and coexist with each other and live in harmony.
Yeah.
While his girlfriend represents the Black Panther type philosophy of screw them all. And it's interesting to see these two ideologies
butt heads a little bit.
And it's interesting because you hear both sides. And then also, we won't get into too much spoilers, but Adam Driver's character, who's Jewish in the movie.
Yeah.
And he never really considered himself, you know,
Jewish.
Until he started disguising himself as Ron to go to these, you know, Klan meetings.
Yeah.
And also the ideology bit, you have his character Felix, who is like the, you know, violent, let's get, you know...
Let's blow up...
anyone who is inferior to us.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, and then you have the arm of the Klan, such as David Duke and some other people, who are trying to become more mainstream.
Yeah, who's trying to hide their...
And they're trying to get involved in politics. And they're trying to... Like, in the movie, they don't even call themselves the Klan. They call themselves the organization. But I'm sorry I hijacked your type.
No, don't worry about it.
Because I really like this movie. This was probably my top 10. And, yeah, but anything you have to say about this? Or can I go on to my pick?
No, you can go on to your...
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to feel like I'm hijacking this review.
No.
Okay, mine tied with Black Klansman, which again I really liked. My other favorite based on a true story was Green Book. Now, I don't know how many people have actually seen
Nominated for Best Comedy or Musical.
And I guarantee you it's going to get nominated for Best Picture.
I just find it funny it was nominated for Best Comedy.
No, there was some funny parts in it.
Yeah, but would you call it a comedy, though?
In a way. But I would call it a dramedy.
Okay.
For those of you who haven't seen it, because do you think a lot of people have seen it by now? Or,
I haven't seen it.
Or do you think it's one of the stuffy award season films?
I haven't seen it.
But anyway, here's the plot. Viggo Mortensen plays Tony.
Okay.
Who is a bouncer at a nightclub, and he loses his job due to temporarily. And then he applies for a job to work for to be a chauffeur/bodyguard for this black pianist, Dr. Shirley, played by
Mahershala
Ali. Who was really good in this, by the way. Both of them, Viggo Mortensen. And he's a black pianist, and he's going on a tour in the Deep South.
Okay.
So, for those of you who know your American history, this is the early 1960s.
Okay.
So, if any of you know your American history down there,
It's still Jim Crow.
yeah. And you see a lot of the. And you see. And you know what? It's such a good. And what's really good about this is you see, compared to something like Black Klansman,
Mm-hmm.
it does have some racial undertones,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more about their friendship
Okay.
than them being black and white.
Hmm.
And they kind of go through the typical. They kind of go through the typical. The guy has prejudices, and he's got to overcome them and become friends with this guy. But it's done well. Like, take the movie Driving Miss Daisy. Have you ever seen Driving Miss Daisy?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Because here's the thing. Like, Driving Miss Daisy, for those who haven't seen it, like, Miss Daisy only gets affected by prejudice because she's Jewish in the movie when it happens to her. When somebody vandalizes her synagogue. But, like, Viggo Mortensen's character, you can kind of see that he sees the treatment Dr. Shirley receives, like how and that works into the title Green Book, because the Green Book is actually a book that they gave back in those days to say a book of hotels and establishments that African Americans could stay at. And Dr. Shirley's character, and I want to talk about that for a little bit, if that's all right. It's interesting because there's this scene when the car breaks down. And Dr. Shirley, Mahershala Ali's character, is standing outside the car. And he sees these African Americans working in the cotton fields. And it's great because it shows that, he doesn't. Or another scene when he's in the motel waiting for Viggo Mortensen's character, and they're sitting there playing horseshoes, and he's sitting there all dressed nicely.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, do I belong more in the, because there's a scene saying when Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali get into a fight, and they're saying, well, how can you talk about dignity? You sit there and play concerts for white people. Because, it's kind of a fight. It's like Dr. Shirley is going through an identity crisis. Like, does he belong more in black society, or does he belong more in white society?
Interesting.
And it's really, and again, it shows that overcoming, because how many times have you seen that in a movie, Justin? Because I want to chime you in, even though you've seen the movie. How many times have you seen that, guy has to get over prejudices? How many times have you seen that done to death?
Quite a few times.
And doesn't it get boring?
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen at the end.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to become friends. They're going to look past one another. And, like, but like I say, yeah, Viggo Mortensen's character does have prejudices. They're not as, as hard.
But they exist.
Like, there's a scene in the beginning when he wakes up late and a bunch of his relatives are over saying, why are you here? We thought we'd keep your wife company. And there's two repairmen there, and they're, they're black.
Okay.
And his wife offers them drinks, offers them some lemonade, and they put them on the counter, and when everybody's away, he takes them and throws them out. Because you can show that he does have those subtle...
Right.
But anyway, that's why I thought, and comparing it to Black Klansman, again, it's not, even though I did like Black Klansman, you can kind of admit, Black Klansman is kind of preachy.
It is a little preachy.
Because this movie, like, what would you enjoy more in a substance? Like, from Black Klansman being more, preachy, racism is bad, which it is.
Mm.
Or would you rather watch something like, it's based more on their friendship than on their race?
The second one sounds like an easier pill to swallow.
Well, there are some scenes that are, that are kind of hard to watch. Like, scene when he's in a bar, Dr. Shirley and all the white guys are harassing him. They're calling him some,
Right.
racial slurs. And then there's a scene, like, okay, kind of a spoiler, and then we'll move on to the last one, which is, it's a fun one, isn't it? But anyway, like, there's a scene, like, when they're at the last show, and this is a true story, you can look this up, and Mahershala Ali's character is fighting with one of the waiters at this country club that he's supposed to play in, and then Viggo Mortensen's character going, hey, what's going on here? Going, this gentleman says I'm not allowed to dine here. And then they get into a fight, and then they say, listen, either you let me eat here or I'm not going to play. And Viggo Mortensen's character holds this maitre d' up against the wall and says, you're going to let him eat here tonight. But the guy doesn't give in. He's like, and also, I'm sorry I keep coming up with new points with this, but some of the people there, I think they are racist, but you can kind of tell they're like, some of them maybe aren't racist. They're like, this is just the law.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's an interesting topic? Sort of like...
Yeah, I mean, but...
Like, this is the law.
Yeah, but that's also, like, the thing with, like, Nazi Germany and how they were...
Well, how they said we were just following orders. Because okay. Now, I think I blabbed on about that too long, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But now, the last one, baby. It's time to get into our favorite mode.
The biggest shit show of the year.
Now, this was a movie... Now, there were some funly bad movies out this year.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, it wasn't fun. It just sucked.
I didn't even want to see this movie out of principle.
And whose dumb idea was this? Mine. Because I wanted to see, is it really that bad?
With a 0%
Let's say it together.
The biggest shit show of the year
is Gotti.
Congratulations, Gotti. Pick up your reward in the 7th circle of hell.
Oh, God. Oh, freaking.
E.
What was that?
So you were saying, oh my freaking God, and I said, E.
Oh,
Gotti.
God, this movie was... Watch our review of it.
Yeah, Bill goes into detail on why exactly this movie sucks, but the Cliff's Note version of it is everything. Everything about this movie sucks.
John Travolta, to his credit,
Tries.
you could see that he's trying.
But the direction wasn't there, the story wasn't there, it was just so bad.
This movie was trying to be
A ripoff of every single mob movie you could possibly think of.
It was trying to be Diet Goodfellas. Or as we made the joke, Goodfellas.
Zero.
Or Godfather Zero. And in this movie, Kevin Connolly...
You know, the guy who plays...
E on Entourage. He's just a Marty Scorsese wannabe.
And it did not work.
Oh, Kevin Connolly. Dear Kevin Connolly, there's a special place in hell reserved for you. Isn't there? And it's, this movie is just... you can't even laugh at how bad it is. And it just, the editing sucks. And our favorite part, they don't tell you where you are, but they tell you exactly who you're talking to.
The ghost of John Gotti.
No, like, they put the subtitles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they go...
You see that guy over there? That's
Paulie.
and then it'll say Paulie.
And it's just
Like, I'm surprised they didn't
like this movie was in hype for years, actually.
Yeah, because they actually had interesting people in line to direct who dropped out. I can't remember those names, but there were people who were attached to direct and they dropped out.
I wonder how Martin Scorsese would do if he directed it.
It would be a much better movie than this, and John Travolta probably would not have played Gotti.
Should we get Ray Liotta back? No, not the best. But anyway, it's just... there are a couple types of bad movies. There are the...
There's the mediocre bads.
Which are just, well, it's a movie. It wasn't good. It wasn't terrible. It was just...
There.
It exists.
That was our Solo.
Then there are the boring type movies. Which are... That's self-explanatory.
Yeah. The movies you fall asleep to.
Then there's the so bad they're good, which is like Venom.
The Venoms. And then there's that rare type of bad that just hits every wrong note, pushes every wrong button, and that was Gotti.
It sucks.
Like I said, congratulations, Gotti, you're the biggest shit show of the year. Grab your award in the 7th circle of hell.
And Kevin Connolly...
And stay there.
Never make a movie like this again. Actually, should he even make a movie again?
I don't like to tell directors to give up their craft, but
Maybe
this was not a good first start.
If you release a good movie, Mr. Connolly, you will be forgiven for Gotti.
Mm-hmm. But if your next attempt is as bad as Gotti, you're on our shit list.
Permanently.
Right next to Michael Bay.
You hear that, Michael Bay? You're on the shit list. And yeah, we don't care how many explosions and... picture this fun one. Ready?
What?
Gotti made by Michael Bay.
That is a one-way ticket on the Nope train to fuck that shitville.
It used to be somewhat more entertaining.
It would be better shot. That's probably the best I could say about it.
Because guess what it would have? Explosions. And just another thing, the narrative of all this sucked.
Yeah.
Because they have first John Gotti telling his story.
The ghost of John Gotti.
And then, like, he's narrating
That's the
parts
funniest part of it.
that happened, like, after he died. About his son. Like, if they had it from his son's perspective...
Then it could be a little more interesting.
And you know what? I think the movie was based on a book that was written by John Gotti's son.
Well, did not translate well.
And, John Gotti Jr., if you're watching this, we're really sorry that movie came out a piece of shit. I haven't read your book, but I'm sure it's, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's good. Well,
Also, can we talk about Pitbull?
Okay, that one scene.
You're in the 80s. Don't play Pitbull in the 80s.
Okay, there's a part where they're at, like, a 4th of July party, and they're playing the song Fireball. Which I do admit, I do kind of like that song.
I have fond memories of that song.
And this is in the 80s. You're playing a song that doesn't exist for at least 30 years. Whoever the music supervisor is should be fired.
Mm.
And listen, if you watched the review and we're kind of recycling the same criticisms from our review,
we said everything we needed to say in
like,
that
we
review.
just gave you the short version of our...
This is the Cliff Notes. If you want to see the full-on Bill rant, watch the review.
And
I promise you, it's worth your time.
it's more entertaining than the movie.
It is.
And you know what? And then the controversy that was surrounding this, very quickly, grade me on how I say this, there were accounts on Rotten Tomatoes, because it was a 0% critic score.
Yep.
And it was like a 80% audience score, right?
At first, yeah.
And I remember because I had Movie Pass. I don't have it anymore. Rest in peace. It was like, critics hate it, audiences love it. Which side are you on? And then you explain it.
So there was some research done on the audience mirror score, and most of the people who rated it positively, not all of them, granted, but a good chunk of them, were created within the last month
When the
of
movie
the
came
movie
out.
was released, and only reviewed Gotti.
And then Dan Merrill from Screen Junkie.
Dan Merle from Screen Junkies called out
BS.
that BS, and then the advertising account for Gotti started getting into a Twitter feud with Dan Merle about it, saying, "Oh, you critics don't understand. Like, they're attacking critics."
Well, you know what? To be fair, there is probably a reason why critics had it set at 0%. Because they didn't have a critic screening.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Because they didn't have a critic screening. So
I wonder why.
so they were basically attacking critics for no reason. Because the critics probably didn't even see this movie. And do you think maybe critics got a hold of it if they weren't holding any critic screening, or?
Oh, critics went to see it, and they did not like it.
Well, that
It's
was
just-
probably the reason why I had a 0% at first. It was because
Yeah, but
there was
now
no screening.
it stayed at a 0%. It is still a 0%. The critic consensus can forget about it.
Okay, anyway, it's not just the worst movie of the year. I think it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's up there.
And listen, if you want to know more about John Gotti, go watch a documentary. It is somewhat decent. That was released in like the early 2000s, shortly after John Gotti passed away. So if you want to know more, go watch that. Go watch a documentary on the History Channel. Would probably be more interesting than this movie.
Yeah.
Or this one. Go read a book.
What an amazing concept. Read a book.
Read a book about Gotti. Just, if you want to know more about John Gotti, stay as far away from this movie as humanly possible. This movie, you know what? We shouldn't even have given it this title. You know why? Because we're acknowledging it exists. And you know what, Mr. Connolly? This is the last time we're going to acknowledge Gotti's existence. Isn't it?
Yes, this is the last time you'll ever hear us talk about Gotti in one of our videos.
And you know what? As of right now, after this review, in our world, Gotti will no longer exist. It has disappeared from our memory. It will disappear from our memory.
It's a stiff, bereft of life.
It rests in pain.
If it wasn't in the seventh circle of hell, it'd be pushing up the daisies.
So anyway, yeah. So the biggest shit show of the year.
Fucking Gotti.
Gotti, you suck. And guess what? From here on in this world, this movie,
Is dead to us.
yeah. Because I even made this joke in our review saying I wasn't going to rate it because rating it would acknowledge its existence. But in our world as of now, it doesn't exist anymore, does it?
What doesn't exist?
You know, that movie we were talking about.
I'm confused. Wanna go see a movie?
Sure.
All right.
All right. Well, we hope you have anything else you want to like swing in the last minute. I think we're good.
You know what? One last category for me, and it is too much awesomeness.
Okay. Let's end on a positive note.
Please. I think I was never so pleasantly surprised by a movie as much, especially a sixth movie in the franchise, as Mission Impossible Fallout. This was just so action-packed. The action was brutal. The acting was amazing. Like, it was a white-knuckle thriller, and it just kept you on the edge of your seat throughout.
I really liked it, and I'll be honest, I had to watch the Kramit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of who does that?
Screen Junkies.
I had to watch the Kramit.
Yeah, I did too, because I only saw 4. But yeah, this was just phenomenal. And Henry Cavill's mustache was awesome. I know it killed Justice League, but the mustache was awesome.
Oh, mustache. But
Okay, I think
Anyway.
that about does it.
yeah, I thought it was good, and I think my most awesome, and I know you're tired of all me hearing this, most Marvel, such as Infinity Wars, Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was Marvel's year.
And we'll see if their year continues this year.
And you know what?
We have Captain Marvel coming out, both of them,
Yeah, Shazam,
which
Carl?
used to be called Captain Marvel.
but I guess they had to change it for copyright issues.
Yeah, I think that's why they changed it,
And then
to make it less confusing. And then you got Endgame.
which was super psyched for.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Far From Home.
but you know what? I'm kind of curious to see where Marvel's gonna go after Endgame and Far From Home.
I'm curious when they're going to release a trailer for Far From Home and what they're going to put in it. Because at this point, Spider-Man's dead.
Spoiler. But we're just gonna
How can they release a trailer that's attached to, say, Endgame, when in that universe?
Do you think they're maybe gonna wait until game?
That's cutting it close, man.
Because they probably want you to wait until what happens after Endgame.
Or what if the after credit scene of Endgame is the trailer?
Is like the setup to
Like what they did with Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Avengers. Because the after credit scene to the First Avenger was the Avengers trailer.
it was. We're
That
just
could
gonna
be
have to
cool.
wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
We've been going on for 2 hours now.
and I'm
so-
sure all you people are tired of hearing from us. So that was our retrospective. We hope you guys had a good time.
And here's to a good year in the movies.
Woohoo! And Kevin Connolly, don't you dare make another film.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
All right, let's.